Jeffrey Wright and Company, live from the Rivard Royal GMC Studios. Rivard Royal, the GMC price leader, has arrived on 92.9 FM ESPN.
CJ Hurd is a Grind City media personality. Of course, you can see him every weekday on the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurd. Follow him on the Everything app at ConRadicalness. CJ, what is your best interpretation of what happened on Friday night with the Grizzlies?
Best interpretation I got, just people being competitive. People being direct, people in the height and in the most competitive environment they can be in the regular season. Just letting their emotions get the best of them. People who want what's best for themselves and what's best for the franchise as a whole. Letting their emotions take the best of them. You got a coach who's holding a superstar accountable. And you got a superstar who feels like he's doing everything and then some to contribute to winning. Frustrations boiled over, and it kind of spilled outside of the locker room into our consciousness. Don't get it twisted. This type of stuff happens all the time. The stuff that spills out into the public sphere, not necessarily quite so much, but competitive people get into these shouting matches all of the time in this type of an environment. It just doesn't typically spill over into the public like that. But I think that's best I can tell. That's what's going on here.
How much of Ja Morant's play on Friday night, or maybe even, the play of Luka and the fact that, you got the Amazon Prime spot or Prime Video spot, and it's not a big night. How much do you think that impacted what we saw?
Impacted it? How so?
Like, I just feel like oftentimes when we see a Ja outburst or whatnot, to your point, I totally agree with you. A lot of stuff happens in the locker room that never gets reported, but I guess we have to also acknowledge, like, the Grizzlies did announce a suspension, so like they chose to make it public to a certain degree. But I just noticed that a lot of times when he gets in these feature spots and he doesn't have the big night and somebody else overshadows him, that leads to more Ja frustration.
I think he was frustrated before the game ended, right? Like, you could see it boiling over onto the court. So I don't think that had much to do with it at all. Again, I think that it's two people, coach and a player, who both want to win and both have a vision on what winning looks like. And I think both of them have to know that you can't do this without the other.
Yes.
Y'all can't go out there and win the game without a head coach. And right now that's Coach T.I. And he has to know that this team is only going to go as far as Ja's shoulders will carry them. But I think in that moment, the emotions for both of them got the better of them. And that's what happened. I think that would have happened regardless of who the opponent was and where the game was being played. I think it is. I am certain that type of an outburst was bound to happen no matter what.
What do you think we see tonight?
Oh, this is the best part of the story. You said it, I said it. Like, this is common. It's spilling over into the media is a bit less common, but it is still common. We see this happen from time to time in sports. And the way that it kind of resolves itself is, hey, what happens next? What's going to happen the next time you get a chance to compete? And so that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I don't, honestly. I know what I hope to happen. I hope that everybody pushes past this and uses this as sort of a catalyst to find a way to communicate effectively with one another, both in the heat of battle and outside of the basketball that's being played on the court. That's what I hope to happen. I remember, was it Barrett Jones? Who was the quarterback when Barrett Jones was just going in? Was that A.J. McCarron?
A.J. McCarron, yeah, they got into it.
I remember at the national championship game, up 30 or something ridiculous like that, and they're about to come to blows on the sideline. See it with Jeff Saturday, or seen it with Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning. Hell, Reggie Wayne just told a story about him getting into it with Peyton Manning on the sideline. Allen Iverson, Larry Brown. Like, these things happen. Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant. These things sort of happen from time to time, but we remember them differently based off of how everybody responds after the fact. So you can have these types of outbursts. You can have these types of moments happening when you get two competitive people facing off on the same side, and just, things get so heated that they end up mad at one another, and it still results in the team going as far as the team wanted to go, right? Like Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, that last year was real tense. They did not like each other. We know that because media reports coming out of that locker room was like, yeah, Draymond just cursed Kevin Durant out. He said that the Warriors didn't need him, even though it was very clear that the Warriors did need Kevin Durant. And they still got to NBA Finals. So like these types of things happen. But it's how everybody responds going forward that will dictate how we remember it. So going back to the question about tonight, I have no clue how everybody's going to respond, but I do know that this will tell us as much about where this team is and where these two as coach and player are as the outbursts on Friday.
How much do you think the deployment and the rotation issues, how much do you think that is impacting the frustrations that we're seeing?
Sure. Right. But like anything that's not equating to the Grizzlies winning is going to impact it.
Yes.
Like that's what it boils down to. If the Grizzlies were winning with this rotation pattern, Ja would be completely and totally fine. If the Grizzlies were winning with this rotation pattern, I think Coach Isola would be completely and totally fine. They'd be buddy, chummy, right? But they're not. And there have been moments of true befuddlement and frustration and struggles 7 games into the season, and they don't want to lose. Like they don't like losing. Ja Morant, Coach T.I., nobody on this roster has ever accepted losing and failure in that sort of a way. So like there's some growing pains going on right now, but it's to be expected. You got to find a way to play through it. Everybody has to find a way to be professional. You can't hurt your team by, one, if your job being suspended, and two, if you're the head coach, by pushing a player to the brink of that type of an emotional outburst where the only thing you can do going forward is suspend him. I think it's, one game isn't going to wreck a season. Been suspended. Now let's see how he comes out and responds. The rotation, certainly a part of that, but the true frustration is in the losing. They start winning and all of this goes away.
All right. Well, so tonight, how do you think it's going to go though? How do you think, what's your prediction tonight? Are we going to hear from Ja before the game? Do you have any inside information on that?
I don't have any inside information. What do you
look, you work up there, right? At FedEx Forum. Is that not is your office not at FedEx Forum?
No, I work in the admin building, which is next door to the FedEx Forum. Yeah. Yeah, like I can look out right now out the window and I see FedEx Forum right there on the sign. But like on game day, they don't let me in there without a badge. So I ain't even been over there. I left my badge at home. Crazy.
What would you ask Ja if you got to talk to him before the game?
What would I ask him?
Yeah, what would you ask him?
Oh, nothing, because I don't care what he has to say. Nothing. What he has to say does not matter. What he does matters. And when Ja Morant is healthy and on the court, he is one of the most exciting, one of the most electrifying, one of the most clutch basketball players that there is in the NBA right now. So, like, he's smart enough to know how to answer the questions appropriately if he wants to. He's also smart enough to know how to send a message through social media as well, if he wants to. So what he's saying does not matter. It's what he is doing.
Right.
The outburst in the locker room, that's one thing. But the way he played on Friday, that's the concerning thing for me. Because I don't think we've seen him do that on the basketball court. And if we have, it's been few and far between. That is the thing of the most interest for me. Just go out there and compete, man. Go out there and be the player that we think you are, and go out there and give this team the best chance at winning, like we all know that he does.
Well, what do you say to the mostly national media, right, that jumps on anything that goes on with Ja? Ja Morant. It's like, hey, Ja's got to be traded. Ja needs to be traded. What would you say to that?
Does he need to be traded?
Or the Grizzlies should trade Ja. Or this is that becomes why is that the only thing the national media can ever talk about with the Grizzlies and Ja Morant? Something goes bad, Ja needs to be traded.
Those are the market size. You know that's why. But to the national media, just pump your brakes a little bit. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see how it plays out. This is the first time that there's been this level of, or this is the first time accountability has been levied out in this sort of a way. So nobody really knows how anybody's going to respond, be it the job, the coaches, the players around them. Nobody really knows. So just sit tight and see how everybody responds to it. No need to immediately rush to got to make a trade, which is easier said than done. Also, there's a lot of dudes out here, a lot of teams who would love to have Ja Morant, who probably can't trade for Ja Morant for various reasons, various exceptions, the cap being what the cap is, that sort of stuff. So it's easier said than done. We can do all of these fantasy trades in our mind, but that doesn't mean just because it works in your head, that doesn't mean that it's going to work on paper. So let's see, let it play out, and wait and see.
Yeah, I think the thing that was kind of surprising is it felt like before Friday, vibes were good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's not as if, okay, the wins that we're talking about are the wins that you're going to talk about the end of the season being as great wins. But, I think everybody acknowledged the Grizzlies are shorthanded given their injuries and what they have in the personnel front. Cedric has, I think, given everyone every reason to be hopeful about him. And yeah, like it wasn't a perfect start, but Ja was having a nice start. He was playing in every game. Like, I don't know. I guess that's just kind of what fascinates me is like why we have these drastic like swings.
It's like it's that perfect couple that's posting pictures on social media. Everything's so great, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, Jeffrey. You don't know what's really happening in real life, right, CJ?
Yeah, no, you just don't know what's happening. And now we kind of got a little picky at what's happening, which may or may not be the best sort of thing. And you can always rectify it by going out there and winning, right? Like that's the only thing that's going to put this situation behind everybody. That's going to be the best way to put this situation behind is to go out there and win. You got to get people into rooms, and I'm not sure if they've done that or not, but I would imagine that if you're a boss, a general manager, president, somebody like that, you found a way to get Coach T.I. and Ja in a room somewhere, on a call somewhere, to like, hey, guys, we can't do this. You guys need one another, and we need you if we're going to go where we're going to go, and you hope everybody's on the same page and everybody goes out there and puts their best foot forward. That's all you can do, man. And it's frustrating, I know, especially as a competitor, because you want to go out there and you want to win every single game, and you want to play as much as humanly possible. You don't want to be load managed at all and sitting out games. And so far this season, that's not the case. But you also want to play as many minutes as humanly possible while you can. I understand there's some frustration in that, but you got to find a way to keep it in check, manage yourself a bit better. There's an appropriate way to talk to coaches about that sort of stuff. And as a coach, there's an appropriate way to get on a superstar player, especially when you don't have the pedigree that lends itself to you being able to get on a star player in that sort of a way. Greg Popovich could get on to Tim Duncan because they won championships together. Phil Jackson could get on to Shaq and could get on to Kobe because he three-peated with the Bulls. So he three-peated twice with the Bulls, right? So when you don't have that sort of resume behind your name, you got to approach things a bit differently. But hey, listen, go out there. It's all behind everybody. It should be all behind everybody now. Get out there, get on the court, compete, and let's see what happens.
All right, and then we'll wrap up here. We get the news that Edey is headed to the Hustle. How close do you think we are to actually getting Zach Edey back?
And if he's going to the Hustle, that means he's good to go. He's just got to work on some conditioning. They want him to get a couple of games under his belt. So I would guess just recklessly, I don't know what the hustle schedule is. I don't know what the Grizzlies schedule is. But I don't have it in front of me. But recklessly, I would assume Edey will play a game, maybe 2 games with the hustle, and then be ready to go sooner rather than later. Real reckless on this thing.
Yeah.
Real reckless. No information again. They don't let me into the forum on game days. I would say Edey plays Sunday. Just guessing.
Oh, really?
That's hey man, the sooner the better. I mean, I think that would be about right. I think some people were starting to say around November 7th. So that would be that's about the right time based on that timeline. All right, my man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. All right.
That is CJ Hurt of Grind City Media. When we come back, we'll tell your story next, right here on Jeffrey Wright and Company, 92.9 FM, ESPN.
92.9 FM, ESPN, Memphis' sports station. Listen to 92.9 FM ESPN on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.